This is the Stephen Gashler Show, the weekly podcast in which I, Stephen Gashler, the King of America, boldly pursue my quest to usher in a new era of chivalry. I seek out the greatest souls of our time who might be worthy to take honorary seats at my living room table, so that knights can once again rampage the earth, and new tales of silly adventures can be sung for the 21st century. You know, it's funny how many times I introduce myself, say at a job interview, and people don't even know I'm the King of America. But in case you happen to be one of those few people who somehow hasn't heard, don't ask me how, a few months back I was down by Utah Lake when the Lady of Utah Lake emerged from the depths and bequeathed to me the magical sword Exfoliator, which obviously makes me the King of America. But as I was saying about my quest, it's time to start looking for knights, and I was thinking that the best place to start would be... Oh, it looks like we have a caller. That's funny, I just barely started the show and don't know who would possibly be calling. Probably one of my fans. Hello?
Stephen Gashler, you snake, how dare you impersonate my kinship?
Ugh, it's Nephi Ledesma.
That's right, Nephi Ledesma, the true king of America.
Look, Nephi, I don't know what you're trying to do, but this is my show, and I really don't think
Your show? Our shows are my shows.
I think you stole that one from the Queen of Hearts?
I received my sword from the Lady of the Great Salt Lake, which everyone knows is much bigger than Utah Lake.
You claim to have received a sword. Besides, everyone knows the Lady of the Great Salt Lake is a briny old hag.
Just like everyone knows the Lady of Utah Lake is notoriously cheap. She probably picked up your sword at Big Lots. Mine, on the other hand, is 100% stainless steel.
I don't have time to argue over steel grades. I'm trying to do a podcast.
Admit that you're a fraud, and I'll pardon you with minimal punishment.
Can we talk about this after the show?
Talk? What kind of a coward talks about his problems? Some king you are.
All right, I challenge you to a duel. Is that what you want?
I'm surprised you had the guts.
We'll work out the details later. Sorry about that, folks. Unfortunately, I don't yet have a budget to hire someone to screen the calls. But as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, the first place I'm going to look for knights is among authors of science fiction and fantasy for young audiences. My reasoning is that, rather than some meat-headed brute in armor, I want my round table to be surrounded by great thinkers with hearts of children and boundless imaginations. After all, reinventing chivalry for the 21st century will take some creativity. For example, I was thinking that instead of swords, we could use lightsabers. Except for with my sword, of course, which, to set the record straight, the Lady of Utah Lake did not get at Big Lots. It's an alloy of 3X nickel and chromium steel. My first guest will be Anne Hunter. And now, her fanfare. Multi-award-winning author Anne Hunter is the creator of the young adult fantasy series Crowns of the 12, including the novels Subtle Beauty, Moonlight, Fallen, with A Piece of Sky, Ashes, and The Rose and the Briar to follow. She likes cherry soda with chocolate ice cream, is a mom first and a writer second, has a secret identity, and thinks the Twilight movies are cheesier than Cheese Whiz, which is why they are her guilty pleasure. She lives in a cozy Utah home with her 2 awesome kids and epic husband. Welcome to the show, Anne.
Thanks for having me out today.
So you're not going to divulge your secret identity, are you?
No, I'm sorry. My superhero identity must remain secret.
Well, that's very disappointing, but I understand. So you've written quite a few books already.
I have. I've got a fantasy series known as Crowns of the 12, and they're retold fractured fairy tales. It's all about a family and their history, and I'm still in the process of writing it. I've actually got Northoak makes it my 3rd series that I've got going right now.
You're prolific.
I try.
You were telling me earlier that you wrote something like 20 books when you were how old?
Well, I started writing Northoak when I was very young, when I was like 12. It's gone through several incarnations in the 20 years that I've been writing. And, I wrote 20 books for that series in 4 years.
Beat that, folks. What book would you like to talk about today?
Well, I'd love to talk about my upcoming book, Born to Run. It's the first book in a young adult contemporary series called Northoak.
What's the book about?
Well, an orphan with a dark past is thrown into a high-stakes, fast-paced world of horse racing.
Sounds like fun.
It is. I'm excited for it.
What got you interested in horse racing?
Well, my parents bred Arabians when I was very young, and one summer my aunt came out for a visit. She was a security guard for the Saratoga racetrack in New York, and she brought a copy of the Post magazine, and Hall of Fame jockey Julie Crone was on the cover. Inside was a big pullout of Secretariat, the 1973 Triple Crown winner in full stride, and already loving horses, I was hooked instantly.
So are you a horseback rider yourself?
I used to be. I don't currently have a horse, but if I did, I would sure be riding into the sunset.
Cool. Well, tell me more about your book.
I have a blurb from the back. Alexandra is on the run from the law. When the 13-year-old orphan can run no further, she collapses at the gates of the prestigious racing and breeding farm North Oak. Horse racing strikes a deep chord in her. She hears a higher calling in the jingle-jangle of bit and stirrup, and in the thunder of her hooves for the turn for home. It tells her she has a place in the world, but when the racing headlines find her on the front of every sports page, she realizes North Oak is no longer a safe haven. Money can't buy love, but it might just secure her future. Will everyone at North Oak still want to offer a home when they learn of her unspeakable crime? On the heels of Joanna Campbell's beloved Thoroughbred series and Walter Farley's Black Stallion comes a brand new young adult horse racing series that will sweep you away like a runaway thoroughbred.
So what would you say is your demographic for this book then?
Definitely young adult, and I hope that they'll grow up with the series because it's a longer series. I hope they'll grow up into a new adult group.
Now, I have the stereotype in my mind that horse books are for girls. Is that true or not true?
A lot of girls do like horses, and I think it's inherently born in us when we're kids. I know I certainly brainwashed my children when they were infants, but I hope to make a strong heroine that even boys will be into.
Are you a character in this book?
I wouldn't say I'm any one character, because pieces of myself are in each of them. Each of my books have a bunch of mini Horcruxes running around.
What are some of the themes you explore in your book?
For the series, I'd have to say unattainability, because you're always reaching for the one thing you want most and never getting it. It's just like with horse racing. I feel we often live lives where we're all trying to bottle lightning. There's a very subtle undertone of finding God in all of it too. And I want to really hit up issues that teens deal with today, including the dark and scary stuff, and hopefully make them a little less scary. I want teens to have a heroine they can look up to who never stops swinging and fighting for what she believes in.
Tell me about one of your favorite characters in North Oak.
I'd have to say my heroine, Alex. I love writing strong heroines who are their worst enemy. Alex probably has more of me in her than any other character in the series.
Tell me about one of your favorite scenes in your book.
In the first book, I'd have to say it's probably like the moment from the cover, the first time she really sees a racehorse coming around the bend. All she's really seen in the past is carriage horses. They're kind of mopey and clunky, and she sees this thoroughbred coming out of the mist, and she's sleek and she's fast, and it's this really magical moment for her where it kind of seeps into her veins like a drug.
Tell me about your writing process. Did you face any challenges?
I think writing is a challenge for anybody, but I've always enjoyed writing about Alex and North Oak, so it doesn't feel like as much as a chore. And I'm blessed with my own awesome family of beta readers and critique partners and editors who make the whole process easier. Even my husband, who's very busy and works really hard for our family, he comes home, takes over the kids so I can write at night.
What are some things that you found work the best for getting your novel out there and building a fan base?
Well, what I really feel is best is to just get the book out of your system, get it down on paper, go over it a couple times, and then start asking people to critique it and kind of point out what's going on that needs fixing, and then you can fix it and keep working on it, and then eventually bring it to an editor after several passes with yourself and your critique partners and groups, and just turn out the best possible product that you can at this point in time. That's the beauty of ebooks, I feel, is that you can always go back and make them better in a few years when you're a much stronger writer, but always make sure that it's the best possible product you can put out at this point in time. As for growing a fan base, I just started publishing last year, and I was really surprised at how easy it was and how many people bought my first book in the first month and left good reviews. So I've just continued with that trend, and I've branched out. I found sites like Wattpad, which is awesome. I love Wattpad. It's really good if you write young adult or romance, because if you're ever having a bad day as a writer and you've got a draft up on Wattpad, just go there and you'll feel really good about yourselves, because there's really great readers on there that will encourage you to keep writing and keep you fired up.
I imagine there's a lot of competition out there, though. How do you build a fan base on Wattpad?
There is a lot of competition. It's insane. There's millions of books, and for e-publishing, thousands and thousands of books come out every day. What I did is I took a note from Jenny James, who's a best-selling author here in Utah, she told me that if you get on Wattpad and you request to be featured as one of the featured books, and it has to meet certain criteria, and they pick you, then your readership will really expand. And that's what happened with my first book, The Subtle Beauty, is I'd had it up for free on Amazon after several months. I put it up on Wattpad, and it only had like 300 reads after maybe 4 months. But I like to take the bull by the horns and go after it, so I actually email Wattpad and say, hey, I have this book, and I would really like it to be featured. What do I have to do to make it featured? And we worked it out, and I got it featured, and bam. As soon as it got picked up, it literally had thousands of reads overnight, and it was amazing.
Really? So is this a premium service that you pay for?
Oh, no, it's free.
So what criteria are they looking for?
Well, that goes back to turning out the best possible product you can at any point in time that you put out a product. You wanna make sure it's a great book, that it's well edited, that you don't have typos, and that it's just professional.
So you're telling me if I contact the Wattpad team and say, please feature my book, it's really awesome, I have a good go at it?
Well, I think if you feature Bent Sword, you would definitely get a whole lot of fans.
Well, cool. Suddenly I think a lot of people are going to try that
Probably.
in the next 24 hours.
Winston Churchill said it best, never, ever, ever, never, never give up. I have a friend that has put out 23 drafts of her book, and I have another friend that was rejected 80 times by agents and is now a best-selling author and got picked up by Amazon's publishing company, Lake Union. So just never give up. Keep swinging. Keep going for it. Keep your head down and keep working.
Let's face it. Young readers are bombarded with work, school, and countless distractions, especially when there's so many other books out there. Why should someone pick up your latest book or series?
Honestly, there's nothing else like North Oak on the market. I grew up on the Thoroughbred series by Joanna Campbell as a kid, and it was a bestseller. 10 years ago, the last book of that series was published, and no one has stepped in to fill that void. North Oak is the heir apparent, featuring a strong heroine navigating being a teenager in a world that is not always kind.
You have a lot of books and projects out there. What else should we look for?
North Oak is going to be my primary focus for the next few years, but I will be turning out a few more Fractured Fairy Tales in my Crowns of the 12 series, as well as my series of micro-novels and Mordred. Mordred's kind of fun. It's meant to be read on your lunch break really fast, not more than 5,000 to 10,000 words. It's about a New York bartender who is in debt to a bookie and loan shark, and he gets his butt handed to him one night and wakes up in the magical town of Crum, where it has a curse, and the curse is that everybody breaks into song randomly. It's kind of awesome and fun and meant to be silly and dumb and just kind of get you out of that 2 o'clock lull that we sometimes suffer through at work.
I've said in the past that if I could have any magical power, it would be the ability to cause others to spontaneously burst into song, magically knowing both the lyrics and the choreography. I think that would be so useful.
I think Mordred does that.
How can fans connect to you or learn more?
Well, on Wattpad, you can find me under Ann Hunter 82, and on Twitter, it's the same, Ann Hunter 82, and that's just ANNHUNTER 82. I'm sorry, I don't have an E on the end of my name. I'm not as distinguished as Anna Green Gables. Yeah, and then you can find me also on Facebook, just at the end of facebook.com/author Ann Hunter, and you can find North Oak under Facebook as North Oak Series, just after that slash. On Amazon, it's amazon.com/author/Ann Hunter.
And when again is North Oak going to come out?
It's coming out on Monday, March 2nd, 2015.
It's just around the corner.
It is.
Well, Ann, it's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot.
Thanks again for having me out. I've really enjoyed our time together.
While I can't go around dishing out knighthood, as there are certain ordeals that must be completed first, such as being on my show at least 3 times, you're well on your way. And because you've proven yourself a worthy creator of dreams, what I can do is grant you the title of Wizard of Dream Magic and honorary citizen of New Camelot. Thank you for joining us today. For our next episode, I'll be interviewing science fiction author Derek William Dalton. Most likely, I'll also be hearing back from Nephi Ledesma about our duel. Until next time, as the great Johnny Worthen says, the only way to achieve your dreams is to help others achieve theirs. If you enjoy The Stephen Gashler Show, please subscribe at iTunes and tell your friends. To find out more, visit StephenGashler.com. That's StephenGashler.com. Sound effects from freesound.org, and music by yours truly.